So Andromeda's been out for around a month now, and you've doubtlessly seen all the hate, the mass hatred effect. Sure, BioWare messed up on the facial animations, and sure, some of them are so bad they're immersion breaking. Yes, I agree with all of these things, the frame rate issues, the texture popping, yada yada yada. We've heard it all before, and if I was here to talk about all that, it would just be like spitting in the ocean. Now, the gaming community is probably one of the harshest groups of critics out there. A new and highly anticipated game on the horizon makes for a perfect target for some good old-fashioned fear-mongering. As any reasonably successful YouTuber knows, fear-mongering makes for clicks, and lots of those make for good old tasty ad revenue. Literally, they're profiting off of someone's thought process going, "Oh no, that game's supposed to be great, what are they talking about there?" I mean, yeah, sure, the issues discussed in the BioWare messed up videos are newsworthy. But we're getting this online crowd mentality now of all just banding together on one negative topic. There's other stuff to talk about, guys, in Mass Effect and in other areas of the industry. The sheer amount of negative Andromeda videos trailing down the related video widget on YouTube really depressed me. Why? Well, partly I wanted to shake some of these YouTubers and just say, okay, I get the message, you're a butthurt half-fan wanting to ride the wave of negativity for your own personal gain. Whatever. It's tiring. But really, I got depressed because of the wider picture here. That being the damage this will have done to Mass Effect Andromeda's sales figures. See, I, like many people out there, adore Mass Effect. It's the video game answer to Game of Thrones in space. Frankly, Andromeda delivers everything its predecessors did, and more. Check out my review in the description below there to see what I mean by that in particular. But no, we're not going to focus on that fact because apparently the games community would rather fixate on the fact that all humans have potatoes for faces. As a result, Mass Effect may be under threat of falling by the wayside completely, and we've already seen this with Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Absolutely brilliant game, mechanically perfect, but underexposure led to a lack of sales. Square Enix has now bought the game rights to make an Avengers game, and the final episode in the Adam Jensen trilogy has been put on hold indefinitely, and that happened without negative press. All this damage for what? Some squiffy faces? Come on guys, I want more Mass Effect in the future, so let's not make EA think that we don't want it anymore. Let's just bear in mind as well the fact that patch 1.5 came out just 2 weeks after release. It refined facial animation and lip sync, a couple of cosmetic amendments here and there, not a massive leap, but it's certainly a good start, and let's see what the next patch does, eh? So, after all this sensationalist nonsense, I thought I'd go through some things in Andromeda that make it a game that I personally can't put down. That's right, there's other things to talk about. This isn't a game about giant faces looking bad. You'll have to wait for the Rick and Morty game to come out for that. Although, just before we get started here, I'm not going to ignore my face is tired. Really? Really? Who came up with that line of dialogue? Seriously, it's time to step aside. Arrow in the knee, man. So, number 1, the characters. So, potato faces aside, the characters in Andromeda are actually pretty good. Ryder's team is honestly a cool ragtag band of ne'er-do-wells thrown together into an adventure, a bit like Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, sure, I loved Rex, Miranda, Shepard, Garrus, etc., but I loved the characters in the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. Now, we're having a new trilogy with new characters to get used to, and Andromeda is no different. Honestly, how else are you going to keep a tired-out franchise alive? So, PB is a lovable rogue with a pirate-like obsession for anything shiny. Vetra is a badass Turian ex-merc who got roped into the Andromeda Initiative. Cora is a human who has spent most of her life in the Asari Commando unit. A couple of examples for you right there. I'm not going to list every single character off here, but it's clear to see that they all have backstories and player-directed questions waiting to be answered. It's all cool stuff that ties into the lore of the previous trilogy, maintaining that air of familiarity for all the people who were like, it's not like it was before. BioWare has taken all of those people into account here by creating these kinds of characters. When you do their loyalty missions, or when you try different combinations in a squad, you'll get different conversations. And this is stuff that is genuinely worth listening to. And I'm just going to throw it out there and say it right now. I actually prefer the Ryder twins to the Sheps. Sure, I had fond memories with Man and Femme Shep, but they were undeniably wooden, except when they were shouting. But the writers have more of a sense of humour, they love a bit of sarcasm, and as a result, the game's overall tone is now a lot more like a Star Trek movie, which is fine by me, and if you're a sci-fi fan, should be fine by you as well. And for number 2, a buttload of content. I just wrote quite a lot about this in my written review. Again, you can check out the link in the description below, but it's for that reason alone that I'm just going to fly through this one as quickly as I can. I've been writing about Mass Effect all day. Sure, I love noodles, but I don't want to eat them all day. So, Andromeda is the most content-filled Mass Effect experience yet. Everything is bigger. Explorable planets are freaking ginormous, so you really don't get to complain about the long load screens on consoles. There is a ton of stuff to do, collect, find, scan, kill. It's all down there on that barren planetscape, and there is tons of it. Because of that, exploration is almost always rewarded with something. XP, loot, or at the very least some lore or information about something. People are whinging about there being only 5 planets to explore. So I need you to understand just how much content there is to unlock on each of these planets. Oh, look at that, I'm going into detail after all. Shed loads of side quests, okay, and then you've got shed loads more popping up in previously explored areas depending on where you are in the story. Each planet will take you around 20 minutes to get from side to side in the Nomad at full speed unhindered. And look, just take my word for it, okay? Complaining about 5 planets is redundant at this point. When you play the game and see how obscenely massive each of these places are, you'll get it. The penny will drop and you'll just get it. And finally, number 3, the combat. Oh, the combat in this game is sweet as. I know, the Mass Effect franchise has always had clunky combat, but this time around, it's fixed. Seriously, it's properly fixed. Movement is super duper fluid with added jumping and dodging abilities. There are masses of guns to choose from dependent on your playstyle, loads of abilities to mix and match on the fly, and this is something that BioWare has taken care of, which has always been a common gripe before. You can change your equipped profile and power set on the fly. You can mix up tech with biotic if you like, and you don't have to go to a hub area to do it. Yeah, I bet you didn't notice that little nugget of gold amongst all the hate videos. Sure, enemies are bullet sponges, but there would be no application of tactics if they weren't. At least, unlike the numbing Division, you have a whole plethora of ways to get the enemy's health down to 0. And so there you have it, 3 things that I personally liked about Mass Effect Andromeda that meant that I couldn't put the game down. Mass Effect Andromeda is not a rubbish game. It's not. It has bugs, glitches, frame rate issues, whatever, but it's not a bad game. It's addictive and fun. It's an entertainment product that has entertained me. Well, it's still entertaining me, actually. I just hope that this has rebalanced your estimation of the game, and maybe now you'll be more inclined to give it the shot that it deserves. But have you already given it a shot? Let me know in the comments below what your experience of the controversial Andromeda has been. I'm Nick Banks. I'll see you guys in the next video from All Things PlayStation. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.